This video introduces you to the Manage Control host, new to AX 2012. In this video, we'll provide an introduction, show some examples, and walk through the steps of adding a Manage Control. With the Manage Control host, developers are able to add WinForms and WPF controls to AX forms. They can do this at design time or runtime. The Manage Control host also provides seamless interaction with X++. You can get and set managed properties, call managed methods, and pass X++ or managed data to those methods. In addition, you can define X++ methods to catch managed events. The Manage Control host provides a manage window within your AX form. Within that window, your Manage Control is presented to the user as if it were a standard AX control. AX 2012 has many examples where managed or WPF controls are used to provide rich visual or interactive experiences. In the Production Control module, you'll find a rich visual performance indicator control, as well as an interactive job status control. A managed control is also used to allow the user to see technical documentation for its products. The Kanban schedule board brings a real-world concept to AX 2012, allowing the user to interact with process jobs just as they would using a physical Kanban board. The cone hierarchy control provides an intuitive way to interact with hierarchical data. The Financials module utilizes the Microsoft.NET chart control to present the user with a graphical representation of data. This control allows the user to interactively modify the way the data is displayed in a number of ways. For this demo, we'll be adding a yellow message bar control. The message bar control is made up of a message pane, a message bar, and an optional action button. After opening a developer workspace and an AOT window, I'll right-click on the Forms node and select New Form. Within the new form that's created for me, I'll navigate to the Design node. Within the Design node, I'll select Design, New Control, Managed Host. At that point, the Manage Control Selector window is opened. This window shows me a list of all assemblies that are referenced by Dynamics AX. If the assembly that I want isn't referenced, I can add it here by clicking on the Add Reference button. This form has two windows. The top window lists the assemblies, and the bottom window lists the controls within those assemblies. If I select an assembly, you can see the list of controls listed underneath. The assembly we're looking for is the Microsoft Dynamics Framework.UI.WinForms.Controls assembly. I'll quickly find that assembly on this list by applying a filter. When I select that assembly, I can see all the controls inside that assembly. The control we're looking for is the message pane control. I select the control and click OK. You'll see that the Manage Host is placed on the Design node for us. Let's give it a new name. There are a number of properties applicable to the Manage Host control, most notably width, height, and the sizing attribute. Size to host means you want the form to manage the sizing, while size to content means that you'll manage the sizing within the control itself. For this demo, we'll leave them all at their defaults. In this example, we're going to use a message pane to show a message bar and an action button. If you right-click on the control we've added, you see there's a new menu option called Events. If you select Events, you'll see a list of all the events that control supports. You can use this window to create X++ methods to handle the events raised by your managed control. In this demo, we won't use this window to define our event handlers. We'll define our event handlers in code. As I noted earlier, the message pane control will utilize a message bar control and an action button. We'll define runtime instances of all three of those controls in our class declaration method. I've already written the code for this demo and placed it in Notepad, so I'll just cut and paste that code from Notepad. When declaring an instance of a managed control, you simply need to use a fully qualified name for that control and an instance name. Now let's override the init method and set the runtime characteristics for our control. You can have a number of actions associated with a message bar. We'll hold those actions in an action collection. The first step is to create a runtime instance of the message pane control we added to the form. Then we'll set some properties at runtime. Note the X++ syntax allows me to directly set the managed properties without any abstraction code. I'll make sure it's enabled. I'll set the width and define the number of message bars I want to show within my message pane. Now that I've got my message pane configured, I'm going to create a runtime instance of a message bar and set some properties, including the type of message bar I want to display, some error message text, and I'll also add a click event handler. Here you see I'm adding an X++ method to respond to the click event from the message bar. We also want to add an action button to our message bar, so I'll create a runtime instance of that message action, set some of its properties, and add it to the message bar. I'll also add an X++ method to handle the executed method on that action. After we add the message bar to the message pane, we now have to define two X++ methods designated as event handlers. The first handler is the message bar handler. We'll display a message when that event is raised. The next X++ method is the action button handler, and we'll display a message when that event is raised as well. So let's compile this method, and I'm going to set a breakpoint inside this X++ method to show you that when I click on a managed control, a breakpoint can be hit in X++ code. Let's right click on our form and open it up. You'll see that I have a message bar on the form. It shows the error message, it's of type error, and I have a button. I can click on the message pane and I can see that my message bar handler was called. If I click on the action button, you'll see that my breakpoint is hit. Seamless interaction between managed and X++ code. And that's it. With Managed Control Host, you can add managed controls to your form, manipulate those properties from X++, use managed or X++ data to assign to property values, and catch manage events with X++ methods.